Hi, it's Paulette, and welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I thank you. And if you're an on-seeker, welcome. I wanted to talk about lifting yourself up. We all need to feel better about ourselves, and I believe that all comes through self-talk. So self-talk can be good or it can be bad. Um, or not good. Let's start using your words as good and not good instead of polar opposites. So we'll just give a different variation of good. How about that? So I'm working on that myself. So you're all growing with me, hopefully, through this process. But and every day is a day to work on yourself. So we spend all day with ourselves, and with that comes communication with ourselves. And a lot of that is typically nonverbal communication. It can come through just feeling something or speaking to yourself in your head. I know I do that all the time. I'm an air sign, so I'm always in my head, always in my head. So it's a daily struggle to keep positive self-talk. So it's been noted that our subconscious leads basically our whole life. I mean, we we walk without thinking. You talk pretty much without thinking. I would like to become more conscientious of the words that come out of my mouth um, because words do mean something, and I want them to be uplifting and powerful, not demeaning anyone by what I say, or even demeaning me by what I say. So around 2 years ago, I was very unhappy in my life, and well, I was unhappy before that, but 2 years ago, I didn't like how my life was going and how my job was going. It just very negative management. It was the smallest company I've ever worked for in my entire life. I thought that would be better than a big corporation, but I found out that to be different because you get your clicks and you don't have the HR because it was a franchise, so you don't have the HR that you can go to like you can go to in a big corporation. So it was a daily struggle, and I tried to ignore it and just do my job, but then I felt like I was uh, I'm a very dedicated worker. So then I felt like I was overworking, and the slackers were getting by with it because it was tolerated because of the click, and I didn't want that. I really wanted to get away from that when I started that job, but it was with the small environment, it was really hard to do that. So I really got really down, and you know, I, I hate to say this, I felt like I didn't want to live anymore. Not to say that I was suicidal or anything, but it's that the low that people get where they just want change. And that's usually where change comes from, is when you get in the low of the low. So I started watching Joe Dispenza. I took a vacation from that job, and I was just going through all of his videos. Anytime he had an interview with anybody, I was like listening to it, getting any type of insight I could get. And I wasn't one for meditating, because he has these meditations, and being that I have arthritis, I couldn't see me as a meditator, like in the lotus position, and that's just not me. My mind's all over the place. My mind does wander, but with meditation, you don't need to silence your mind. Listen to your, or not listen to, but observe your thoughts, and let them pass. And if it's something that you feel that you need to work on, then take that and work on that. But so yeah, I decided, with his story, it really intrigued me. I'm sure a lot of people know who Joe Dispenza is. I don't want to get into it, but you can research it, because I believe that you truly grasp something when you go seek, and you feel guided to look into someone, not someone pushing you to go there. That's not really how I think you truly work. So I started doing that, and I wanted to create something with my own mind, because he gets into how your mind, you control your mind, not your mind control you. You're not your mind controlling your body. I know he has these huge retreats. I would love to go to one. But yeah, it sounds pretty intense, and a lot of people get a lot out of it. But so I wanted to do that. And since I know that our thoughts do create our life, pretty much, I can give you a few examples of how before I knew anything of that, I do have some examples for you. I remember when my two youngest were probably like two and three. We would go around driving, and we would look at houses and stuff, new houses, and I remember me saying that I wanted to live in a home that no one else has ever lived in. I wanted a new home. Not that I thought that was even possible. But lo and behold, probably it was maybe like 2-3 years later, I actually was in a situation where I was living in a brand new home that no one ever lived in, that was, I was told that it was built for me. I laugh about that, because there's a huge story behind it, but I won't get into it. Then there's a situation, it happened like before, actually the new house thing, but it happened after I had the new house. So it was something that happened to me when I was probably, I was maybe like 28, 29, and I went into a Walmart, and I just saw how the employees were really unhappy. And I was like, there's no reason for that. And I said to myself, and I had an office job. I was not seeing myself being a Walmart worker. I said to myself, and this is before I even had children, that if I ever worked at a Walmart, I would make it a better place, and the employees would be happy, and they would like their jobs, and I was there for change. And probably, how many years later? I would say it was probably like, it was almost like, I would say it was almost 20 years later. That would have been in like, it was at least almost 20 years later. I was working at a Walmart. It was part-time. It was something to get me out of the house because I was a stay-at-home mom and I wanted human interaction. And I was even living in a different state. um, yeah, never once thought I'd be working at a Walmart. And I was there enjoying it and bringing a smile and um, all the, and I stayed there actually for 13 years. Most of it was part-time though. And yeah, and when I left, everybody was sad. They wanted me to come back because, I made things better. I was there to, for them to speak to me. I had this office, my last role there, I had a office position. It was, just me. And people would just come in and start talking to me about various things. It was just the weirdest thing. And yeah, and I enjoyed it because, obviously they felt guided to come and speak to me. And I've always been wanting to help people wherever I can, and I'm not going to shut someone down just to want to even talk to me. I mean, why would I want to do that? And then my most recent was when I was feeling down and out. Uh, you know, actually, it's been almost maybe 3 years now. Now that I think about it, um, when I just hated my job, I forced my way in. Yeah, it's hard to think that I forced my way in, but I knew it was a job that I could do. I mean, it was like a no-brainer. It was just customer service. I mean, why wouldn't I be able to do that? And so they hired me on. This is the small, it's a small business, and yeah, I dreaded it. I was there for 4 years, and yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the people that worked there. I just didn't. It was not me. I didn't like having to lie to customers just because they would get upset. And, I don't believe in that. I believe in telling the truth. And so, yeah, that created a huge problem because they wanted you to say it how they wanted you to say it. And I'm like, yeah. And when I told somebody, a customer, I remember this. I told a customer, I got an email saying that I needed to tell a customer that, something wasn't in. Um, and when I did that, it was a small office. And I got off the phone and my manager said, Paulette lied. Oh my God, I can't believe Paulette lied. And I was just like stumped. I'm like, what do you mean I lied? They're like, you told the customer the part's not in. I said, well, yeah, that's what the email says. And, then I caught on. They're lying. And I was not going to get into that. And I said I wasn't lying. I just said whatever you told me to say. But then going forward, I chose my own words. I said the truth, but I said it in a way that didn't come off as incapable of a company to get something on a timely basis. But so with that, I felt that I didn't want to be there anymore, and being older, it was getting harder, and I'm unemployed right now, so it gets harder as you get older because they don't see you as staying longer, or you're going to want too much money. You just get shut down and you don't get the opportunities that younger people get. So I didn't know where I wanted to go because I really felt that working for someone was just not for me anymore because I didn't like the integrity that businesses have basically anymore. They just, yeah, I just don't like it. So I actually cried myself to sleep one night and I said, God, take me out or make my life better, because I hated it and I wasn't leaving because I needed money. And probably maybe like a month later, we all got let go. And even though I didn't have another job lined up, they gave the job to overseas people. And, people here in the U.S. were the ones that got let go because we're getting paid more. So it is what it is. I have no hard feelings about that. But I felt as soon as he called me and told me, a huge weight came off my shoulders. Yeah, a huge weight came off my shoulders. And so that was, I know I created that. I created all that to happen. Some people believe in that stuff, others don't. I believe that, we ask for things and we do get it. So you need to be careful of what you do ask for, because you will get it. So that leads to mindfulness. We need to be mindful of what we're asking. So I know in my previous video, if you haven't watched it, that's okay. But in my previous video, I had mentioned that I wasn't raised in a family that I think most people get raised in nowadays. I might be sheltered on that, but I'm not sure. But typically, I know a lot of people get praised from their parents growing up, and I didn't get that. So I believe that praising your children and their achievements, whatever it is, that's good for them. You may think it's superficial. Whatever it is, it can be the tiniest little thing. When they're feeling down, you lift them up. That is so important, especially the first 7 years of a child's life, because they're really just learning everything that they see and that they hear. So since I didn't get that growing up, I didn't know that I needed to do that for myself. I spoke bad to myself. So I remember a time that I called my mom when I was like in my mid-20s, and I was telling her about these achievements that I made at this job that I had, and she basically just like didn't really comment on it. And then she says, oh, but your sister, blah, 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 she's doing this, this, and this, and I'm so proud. I'm like, wow, like my achievement means nothing. And I just didn't get that. But that's how I knew things. That's how I was raised, and that's the environment I'm in. And I knew no different. I knew I wanted different. But no hard feelings on how I was raised. I mean, it just is what it is, and it's something that you need to take a hold of. You need to observe how you were raised, and if there's something that, would be beneficial for you to experience, then you take that and you do that. So speaking to yourself nicely. I had a hard time with that. Someone thought it was weird when I said I don't look at myself in a mirror. I'm like, yeah, I really don't. I really don't look at myself. And so when when they talk about mirror therapy, talking to yourself saying, I love you. You are worthy. You are an achiever. You're handsome or you're beautiful, but the most important thing is that you need to lift yourself up. So what has helped me the most in raising my vibration is actually mantras. I've tried a lot of things, and I got into Dr. Pillai. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. It's Pillai. And I was like binging all his videos, and I didn't know what the words meant, but I knew that it felt good to my body. It uplifted me, and he gets into meditations, and it's like vibrational meditations. It's through sound. So I recommend that you go around and find different things. Either it's going to be affirmations, mantras, anything that you can do to lift yourself up, to release any negative feelings that are trapped in your body. There's EFT, emotional freedom techniques that you can do. Donna Eden was the first person that I encountered that, but there's Brad Yates out there that does the tapping. And then also, dancing, singing, anything that raises your vibration. I mean, if you like roller skating, anything that you get true enjoyment and bliss out of, I recommend doing that to raise your vibration. Also, I do recommend that you write down the thoughts in your head, whether you think it's silly stuff, anything that you're thinking, write it down, and write it down for a long time. Actually, I'm going to show you this book. This is what I got into. It's flipped, but it's called Change Your Mind by R.J. Spina, and I found him on YouTube, and this is like his new book that he had. And don't ask me why I ordered this book, because I'm not a book reader, but I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. So I get this book. And I'm like starting to read it, and my mind's just like, ooh. And I'm like, why did I do this? And so I decided to get the audio version. And so that's what I did. And so I like binged this because, like I said, I don't have a job. So, I got all day long to work on myself. So I was listening to the audio on that, and part of his technique is to write down. I forget how long he wanted you to write it down, but he wanted, because it was all about reprogramming your subconscious mind, and how he got into how you do things that you don't even know. Like his one example was, brushing his hair at like, I don't know, early in the morning. Like he woke up to go to the restroom, and he stopped, he saw his hair, and he combed it, and he figures out it's for others that he doesn't. And so you figure out what you do for others that you just do not thinking about, and it's a way of changing your life. I mean, it changed my life. It made me more conscientious of what I do, and then I'm thinking of something that's not healthy for me. So start doing that if you like, if you feel compelled to do that. And I believe it's going to start making a positive change in your life. So I don't want this to be too long, because I might be boring and I don't want you to click off on the video, but I appreciate you for being here and listening. Thank you. Have a great day.